Have you ever noticed that the harder you chase something, the more elusive it becomes? Think of a child trying to catch a reflection on the wall cast by a shiny object. No matter how quickly they scramble or how fiercely they swipe, that teasing glimmer always dances just out of reach. The child's earnest pursuit, rather than bringing them closer to their goal, seems to push it farther away. This simple observation, as mundane as it might appear, echoes a profound truth about many of life's grander pursuits. What if, in so many instances, our intense chase is precisely what keeps our desires perpetually beyond grasp? Desire is a curious thing. We're told from a young age to set our sights on a goal, pursue it with vigor, and never let go. Society praises the relentless pursuit of dreams, often highlighting the stories of individuals who sacrificed everything, who worked tirelessly, and who never took no for an answer. And while determination and perseverance are indeed noble traits, there's a hidden side to desire, a paradox that we seldom discuss. Imagine for a moment the breathtaking sight of a wild stallion roaming free on vast plains. Its power, beauty, and grace are palpable. A cowboy sees this magnificent creature and decides he must have it. He chases the stallion, tries to lasso it, corner it, even scare it into submission. But the more fervently he chases, the more the stallion evades its freedom, becoming even more pronounced in the face of captivity. If, however, the cowboy were to simply sit, observe and appreciate the stallion from a distance, showing no intent to capture, the horse might just curiously approach him on its own. This is the essence of the backwards law, a philosophical concept suggesting that the more aggressively we pursue something, the more it tends to elude us. It's a law of reversed effort. A principle that says when we push too hard, our efforts can backfire. And while it might sound counterintuitive in a world that often shouts, push harder, want more, don't stop, this idea isn't new. It's been whispered in ancient scriptures, painted in art, and even scientifically observed in our very psychology. The concept might also remind one of a rubber band. When you pull one end, the other end moves away. The harder you pull, the farther away it goes. But the moment you release the tension, it comes back to its original shape. Our desires, our dreams, and even our peace of mind work in much the same way. The tension we create, the pressure we put on ourselves, often pushes them farther away. So where did this idea originate? And why, in a world obsessed with more, is the concept of less is more so revolutionary? Our modern understanding of the backwoods law owes much to Alan Watts, a British philosopher known for popularizing Eastern philosophy in the West. Watts often spoke of the inherent contradictions in our desires. He observed that in our obsessive need to feel secure, to achieve, to grasp, and to own, we often become the agents of our own dissatisfaction. But he was not alone in this insight. This principle, although named and articulated by Watts in a particular way, has deep roots in various philosophical and spiritual traditions. From Taoism's Wu-Wei non-action to Buddhism's teachings on non-attachment. In essence, the backwards law asks us to rethink our relationship with desire. It doesn't advocate for a life without ambition or dreams. Instead, it beckons us to pursue with awareness, with understanding, and most importantly, without the desperation that turns dreams into burdens. It's about realizing that sometimes the tightness of our grip is what causes things to slip through our fingers. In the subsequent sections, we'll delve deeper into this fascinating paradox, exploring its origins, implications, and how it manifests in our daily lives. For now, though, I leave you with a thought. What if in your chase for the life you desire, the very act of stopping observing and letting go is the key to having it all, delving into the annals of history? One finds the seeds of the backwards law scattered across different cultures and eras, each iteration offering its unique flavor yet strikingly congruent in essence. To truly grasp the depth of this concept, it's vital to travel back and understand its varied roots. Long before modern times, Eastern philosophies, particularly Taoism and Buddhism, emphasized the beauty of non-attachment and the art of letting things be. The Taoist concept of Wu-Wei, literally translating to non-action or non-doing, advocates for a kind of effortless action, a flow that aligns with the natural order of things rather than against it. The idea isn't to be passive, but rather to engage with life in a manner that doesn't force outcomes. A river, for instance, doesn't strive or push, it simply flows, finding its path around obstacles and nourishing everything in its course. Buddhism, on the other hand, frequently explores the nature of desire and the suffering it can engender. The Buddha himself taught that our attachments, our cravings for things to be different than they are, lie at the heart of our discontent. By loosening our grip on our desires, we open ourselves up to a more profound form of happiness, one that is not contingent upon the ever-changing circumstances of life. While these Eastern teachings are ancient, their resonance with the Western world was amplified in the 20th century. Largely thanks to figures like Alan Watts, a British philosopher, writer, and speaker, Watts had a unique talent for translating complex Eastern ideologies into language that was deeply relatable to the Western mind. In his lectures and writings, Watts frequently touched upon the backwards law. Although not always using that specific term, he spoke of the irony of how our insatiable desires often lead us astray. One of his most poignant observations was about the nature of music and dance. The point isn't to arrive at a particular note or step, but to enjoy each moment of the melody or movement. Life in Watts' view was no different. By constantly chasing a future goal or state, we miss the beauty of the now. So the Taoist trick says, simply live now and there will be no problems. That's the meaning of the Zen saying, when you are hungry, eat, when you are tired, sleep, when you walk, walk, when you sit, sit. Renzi, the great Tang dynasty master, said in the practice of Buddhism, there is no place for using effort. Sleep when you're tired, move your bowels, eat when you're hungry. That's all. The ignorant will laugh at me, but the wise will understand. His eloquence and insight bridged the gap between two worlds, introducing many in the West to a perspective that felt both novel and deeply intuitive. Through his words, many came to recognize the truth they had always sensed but never articulated, that relentless pursuit, absent of awareness and appreciation, often distances us from our very objectives. Watts wasn't alone in this exploration. Figures like Carl Jung spoke of the shadow self and the dangers of repressing parts of our psyche. By not facing our inner desires and fears, we give them power. Rollo May, an existential psychologist, also touched upon the concept of authentic existence and the importance of reconciling our desires with our true nature. Additionally, Stoicism, an ancient Greco-Roman philosophy, emphasizes the value of accepting things we cannot change and focusing on cultivating our inner virtues in this way. It echoes the sentiments of the backwards law, suggesting that inner tranquility comes not from external conquests but from internal harmony. The Zen approach to non-attachment, Zen Buddhism, an evolution of Mahayana Buddhism, has always been about direct experience, often emphasizing the importance of the present moment. At the heart of Zen lies the concept of non-attachment. But what does this really mean? Non-attachment in Zen isn't about renouncing the world or avoiding emotions and desires. Instead, it's a profound understanding that our attachments, whether to ideas, possessions, outcomes, or even our own self-image, can cloud our perception and bind us to suffering. Take for instance, the Zen art of archery. The archer doesn't aim to hit the target. Instead, they focus on the purity of the action, the draw of the bow, the release of the arrow. The outcome, hitting the target, is almost a byproduct of this pure, undistracted action. The archer is non-attached to the result in this state of mind. There is no anxiety about success or failure, no tension. There is just the act of shooting the arrow. Zen teachings often use the metaphor of the sky and clouds, our true nature. Our Buddha nature is likened to the vast, unchanging sky, while our thoughts, emotions, and attachments are like the transient clouds. By clinging to these clouds, we obscure the vastness and clarity of the sky. Non-attachment, then, is not about getting rid of the clouds, but recognizing them for what they are and not letting them dominate our view. Wu Wei, the Taoist principle of effortless action. If Zen is the art of seeing clearly through non-attachment, Taoism's Wu Wei is the art of living harmoniously by not forcing. Wu Wei is a foundational concept in Taoism, and its literal translation is non-action or non-doing. But this doesn't mean passivity or inaction. Rather, it's about action that is in alignment with the natural flow of things, action without unnecessary force. Consider water, a recurring symbol in Taoist texts. Water doesn't try to flow, it just flows when it encounters a rock. It doesn't push against it. It simply flows around, and over time, This gentle, persistent flow can even shape and erode the hardest of stones. This is the power of Uwe Laus, to the legendary figure associated with the foundational Taoist text that Tao Te Ching says the Tao never does anything, yet through it, all things are done. This is the essence of Wu Wei, being in alignment with the Tao, the natural way of things, so that our actions are not born out of conflict or resistance, but arise naturally, effortlessly. This can be applied in everyday life as well. Think of a time when you tried to force a situation, pushing aggressively for an outcome. The result was likely tension, resistance, and perhaps even the opposite of what you desired. Now recall a moment when you acted with intuition without overthinking, and everything just seemed to fall into place. That synchronicity, that harmony is the spirit of Wu Wei Zen's non-attachment, and Taoism's Wu Wei, though born from different traditions, converge on a profound truth that there is a way of being in the world, a mode of interaction where we are neither slaves to our desires nor passive observers. It's a middle path where we engage fully yet without the heavy burdens of attachment, where we act not out of compulsion, but out of alignment with a deeper, more harmonious flow. This wisdom, ancient yet timeless, offers a compass for those feeling adrift in the tumultuous seas of modern life. A reminder that sometimes the most profound actions arise from a place of stillness and surrender. As we journey from ancient Eastern philosophies to the modern Western world, we find that contemporary psychology has its own ways of reflecting upon the backwards law, grounded in research and empirical evidence. The science of the mind provides intriguing insights into the repercussions of overt trying and how it shapes our experience of the world. Almost everyone at some point has experienced the pressure of a high-stakes situation, delivering a public speech, playing in a crucial sports match, or taking a critical exam. In these moments, the weight of our own expectations can be overwhelming, and here lies the crux of performance anxiety. Performance anxiety stems from a fear of failure or judgment. The irony, however, is that this fear often compounds the very outcome we're trying to avoid when we're too focused on performing perfectly. We divert valuable cognitive resources away from the task at hand. Our minds become preoccupied with potential mistakes or negative judgments, which can disrupt our concentration and flow. Studies have shown that high levels of anxiety can narrow our attention, making us hyper-aware of our actions and surroundings. While this heightened awareness might sound beneficial, it often leads to over-analysis, known colloquially as paralysis by analysis. For example, a pianist overly focused on each keystroke might stumble more than if they were absorbed in the melody's flow. In essence, when we try too hard to control every aspect of our performance, we set ourselves up for decreased efficiency and increased errors. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Our fear of making mistakes makes us more prone to them. The paradox of choice abundance, as a double-edged sword. In the modern era, we often equate more choices with greater freedom and satisfaction. Supermarkets boast aisles filled with myriad variations of a single product, streaming services offer thousands of shows at our fingertips, and dating apps present an endless array of potential partners. But does this abundance truly serve our well-being? Enter the paradox of choice. A term popularized by psychologist Barry Schwartz. His groundbreaking work suggests that while having choices is essential for autonomy and satisfaction, an overabundance can lead to the opposite. With too many options, decision-making becomes daunting. Each choice carries the weight of potential regret, making us question whether we're making the best decision. The sheer volume of possibilities can lead to analysis paralysis, where individuals feel overwhelmed and struggle to make any choice at all. Even after a choice is made, the abundance of alternatives can breed dissatisfaction. We become prone to constantly compare our choices with the UN-chosen options, wondering if we missed out on something better. This lingering doubt erodes the satisfaction derived from the decision, leading to a perpetual state of FOMO, fear of missing out. Additionally, in a world teeming with choices, personal responsibility for our decisions is heightened. When there are only a few options, it's easier to attribute dissatisfaction to external factors. But with countless alternatives, the onus of making the right choice falls squarely on our shoulders, amplifying feelings of regret or self-blame when outcomes aren't as expected. Drawing from both the depths of ancient wisdom and the rigor of modern psychology, we witness the dance between effort and surrender, choice and acceptance, performance, anxiety, and the paradox of choice illuminate the pitfalls of overt trying, reinforcing the age-old wisdom that sometimes less truly is more. Whether it's navigating a high-pressure situation or wading through a sea of options, a measured step back, a moment of reflection, and an embrace of simplicity can be the very keys to clarity and contentment. As we forge ahead into the 21st century, we find ourselves deeply entrenched in a world of technological marvels, instant communication, and a seemingly endless cascade of information and stimuli. While this modern age offers unparalleled convenience and connectivity, it also ushers in unique challenges, notably the pressures of an always-on culture. In decades past, the boundaries between work and personal life were relatively clear-cut. When one left the office or finished their shift, they left behind their professional responsibilities. Transitioning into a personal or family time today with smartphones, smartwatches, and laptops constantly within arm's reach, these boundaries have blurred. Now, emails can ping into our inboxes at any hour. Bosses, clients, or colleagues from different time zones might expect immediate responses regardless of the local time. Social media notifications, not just incessantly urging us to see the latest update, the freshest content, or the newest trend. This relentless connectivity, while empowering, has a darker side. It fosters an expectation of constant availability, leading to feelings of guilt or anxiety when we choose to disconnect. Even briefly, the mental toll of being perpetually on can lead to burnout, reduced productivity, and a pervasive sense of being overwhelmed. This in many ways mirrors the backwards law. The harder we push to stay connected, to respond instantly, and to be omnipresent, the more exhausted and disengaged we become. The stress of modern living beyond just the realm of work and communication. The pace of modern life has accelerated in nearly all facets. The rapidity of change, the vast array of choices in every domain, and the societal expectations of success have constructed a labyrinth of stresses. Consider the urban dweller's daily routine, a barrage of advertisements vying for attention. The cacophony of city sounds, the juggling of multiple tasks and commitments, and the ever-present pressure to keep up with peers. Be it in terms of career success, lifestyle, or even leisure activities, even our leisure time, which was once a refuge from the pressures of daily life, is now often filled with structured goal-oriented activities. The idea of just being without an agenda, target, or objective is becoming a rare luxury. The cultural narrative, particularly in many Western societies, has equated business with importance. How are you is frequently met with busy as if it's a badge of honor. But this constant hustle, this incessant need to be occupied or productive can be counterintuitive. Just as we've seen with performance, anxiety, and the paradox of choice, the strain of modern living can reduce our overall well-being, leading to emotional fatigue, decreased creativity, and even physical health repercussions. The backdrop of modern societal pressures paints a picture of a world in overdrive. But understanding these pressures is the first step to mitigating their impact. By recognizing the traps of the always-on culture and the stresses of contemporary life, we can make informed choices. Maybe it's setting boundaries for work, communication, dedicating specific times for digital detox, or simply allowing oneself moments of pure agenda-free relaxation in a world that constantly demands more. Sometimes the most radical act is to consciously choose less, to pause and to reconnect with our intrinsic rhythms, reaffirming the timeless truth of the backwards law in a modern context. To truly grasp the depth and significance of the backwards law, we must venture beyond theoretical discussions and historical context, diving into the real, tangible stories of everyday lives. These narratives, both poignant and illuminating the practical implications of this age-old principle. Sarah's pursuit of happiness. Sarah was a quintessential overachiever, always striving for more better grades, a higher-paying job, a more luxurious lifestyle on paper. She was the epitome of success. However, despite her achievements, contentment eluded her. It wasn't until she took a sabbatical, immersing herself in a small community in Bali, that she found what she was looking for. By immersing herself in a simpler way of life, without the incessant need to chase after more, she discovered a joy that had previously eluded her. The more she let go of her relentless pursuit, the closer she came to genuine happiness. Tom's obsession with control. Tom was a doting father, always involved in every facet of his children's lives, from monitoring their studies to orchestrating their extracurriculars. He believed he was paving the way for their success. However, as his children grew, they began to resent his over-involvement, craving space and autonomy. When Tom faced a health scare that forced him to step back, he witnessed his children flourish in unexpected ways. They took responsibility, showcased their creativity, and most importantly felt empowered the moment Tom loosened his grip. He saw them truly soar. The case of the over-prepared presenter. Amanda, a seasoned marketing executive, was gearing up for the most significant presentation of her career. She prepared diligently to the point of obsession. Every slide was scrutinized, every potential question anticipated. However, on the day, her over-preparation backfired. Her delivery came across as rehearsed and robotic, lacking the natural flair and spontaneity she was known for. In contrast, a colleague, Jake, who had prepared adequately but not obsessively, presented with a relaxed demeanor, adapting dynamically to the audience's reactions. His presentation was not flawless, but it was authentic, engaging, and resonated more effectively. Amanda's experience was a poignant reminder that there's a threshold beyond which additional preparation doesn't just offer diminishing returns, it can be counterproductive. The overthinking manager. Neil was a manager known for his meticulous attention to detail. However, this strength often turned into a weakness. He would overanalyze every decision, pondering all potential outcomes, leading to delays and missed opportunities on a pivotal project. His indecisiveness resulted in the company being outpaced by a competitor. In the aftermath, Neil took a hard look at his approach and decided to make a change. He began to trust his intuition more, reducing the time spent on exhaustive analysis. The result: faster decisions, increased team morale, and a series of successful projects. His story reinforced the idea that sometimes in the quest for perfection, we can become our own biggest obstacle. These real-life tales shed light on the myriad ways the backwards law manifests in our lives. Whether it's the search for happiness, the relationships we nurture, or the professional challenges we face, there's a recurring theme. There are moments when striving less, letting go, and trusting the process can yield richer, more fulfilling outcomes in the delicate dance of life. Knowing when to lead and when to follow, when to push and when to pause, can make all the difference. As we draw our exploration of the backwards law to a close, it's essential to carve out a moment of reflection. At the heart of our discourse lies a potent and paradoxical truth, one that challenges our contemporary understanding of relentless pursuit and continuous exertion. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, sometimes offers the most profound rewards when we loosen our grip, making space for spontaneity, serendipity, and the unexpected in the vast tapestry of human history. Countless philosophers, thinkers, and ordinary individuals have stumbled upon this realization, from ancient Eastern philosophies to contemporary psychological insights. The theme remains consistent. There exists a delicate balance between action and inaction, between pursuing and allowing, and often in the gentle embrace of surrender, we find what we've been tirelessly searching for. To integrate the essence of the backwards law into our daily lives, it's crucial to move beyond mere intellectual understanding. This requires actionable steps, practices that ground this wisdom in the tangible everyday experiences of our existence. Here are some avenues to consider. 1. Mindfulness meditation. Begin or end your day with a 10-minute mindfulness meditation. Focus on your breath, observe your thoughts without judgment, and cultivate an awareness of the present moment over time. This practice can enhance your ability to detach from the compulsive need to control, helping you flow with life's natural rhythms. 2. Journaling. Dedicate a few minutes each day or week to reflective journaling. Some prompts to consider include: what am I holding on to too tightly? What would happen if I loosened my grip, or when have I experienced the magic of surrender? These questions can unveil deep insights, allowing you to witness the backwards law in action within your life. 3. Daily affirmations. Words hold power. Consider adopting daily affirmations that resonate with the ethos of the backwards law. Phrases like, I trust the process of life, I release the need to control every outcome, or by letting go, I make space for the new, can serve as gentle reminders, realigning you with this profound wisdom. Life in all its unpredictability is a dance of variables both within and beyond our control. While there's merit in ambition, drive, and purposeful action, there's equally immense value and understanding when to step back, to pause, and to let the currents of existence guide us as we navigate the intricate maze of our journeys. Let us remain anchored in this wisdom. May we recognize the moments when holding on too tightly becomes counterproductive. When our relentless pursuits cloud the beauty of the now, and when the act of surrender becomes the most potent form of action in this delicate balance, let us discover the profound truth that sometimes in the vast cosmos of existence, less truly is more, and in this less lies the expansive realm of infinite possibilities.